Okay, it's not even 6 a.m. yet, but I'm heading out to Reliance, Tennessee for the Tramp Festival. Um, I've never really tried a ramp before, but I really want to dive in and go to this festival in Appalachian mountains, and it's a huge part of the food culture there. So I think I'm really going to learn a lot and probably bring home a lot of ramps. So let's do this. So I'm driving out now. I'm about halfway there. I figured I might talk a little bit about ramps on the way. For those who aren't super aware of what ramps are, they're essentially a wild leek, and they're a native plant. They're Allium tricoccum, or tricoccum. It comes from the Native American word that they used to describe the ramps. Originally, they came up with that name, and then we used it. Settlers used it to name Chicago tricoccum. Like there's a connection there in terms of the origin of the naming of that city. They're very potent. They're supposedly about 10 times as strong as garlic. I've planted ramps before, and I remember getting the box of them and opening up the box and just smelling. It reminded me of like lo mein, like a Chinese food dish, which is kind of strange. But I guess in Chinese food they use a lot of leeks, so it kind of makes sense that a wild leek would taste like that. One of the first spring ephemerals, or first edible plants to come out in the springtime. So after a long hard winter, you're able to cook with fresh vegetables again. It's like a huge benefit to be eating those, because they have a lot of vitamins and minerals, and you can make all sorts of dishes. And they almost treated it like a medicine, like a tonic. There'd be all sorts of like remedies that involved ramps, and who knows, they might be selling some like products and stuff made by ramps at the Tramp Festival. There are still not a lot of ways to have an income for a family or for a town, so having a big influx of money in the ramp season is really important. So I'm excited to go. I'm going to see what else they're going to have there. There's going to be music, there's going to be a lot of food, vendors, so let's check it out. So I made it to the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. We are in Polk County, Tennessee, almost in Reliance. We got the Ocoee River behind us here. It's really beautiful. Little islands out there. There's just like such a beautiful drive, and it's an amazing day. So I have a good feeling about this festival. Hey guys, so I made it to the Tramp Festival. It's a really interesting place. A lot of vendors, a lot of people selling goods and different kinds of foods, and I haven't really checked them all out yet. But the first thing I did was buy some ramps. I bought a whole bag of them. Bag this size with that guy in it too. It was about $12, which is a bit, but that's what I came here for, so I bought a couple bags. You can hear the bluegrass band behind me starts playing, and there's actually one indoors too, which we'll check out in a bit, where all the food is. But yeah, this is a bundle right here of ramps. You can see it has the roots on it, so they did harvest it in an unsustainable way, which is great. But that also means I can replant these on my way home in the area to kind of increase the population, which I will do. But let's go ahead and try one of these. So I cut off the very base of the ramp so that the roots are still intact and they can be replanted. It's supposed to be really strong, so let's just dive right in. Really crunchy, really fresh. And there's the heat. Woo! Yeah, very, very strong, very garlicky. Unlike a green onion or just a regular white onion, but I wouldn't say it's as strong as chewing on a piece of garlic. That would be pretty intense. This is actually kind of nice. Probably wouldn't want to eat a ton like this, but if it was like finely diced, almost like a red onion in a salad, it'd be delicious. The leaves are a little bit wiltier. This one's actually not so bad. Some of the others are more wilty. I'll try a bite of those. Not as much flavor on the leaves, but still pleasant to eat. All in all, this is awesome. It's really good. Kind of smells like dill pickles almost, because I think it's probably just the garlic flavor and intensity of it makes it smell like pickles, but really good. I'm excited to try some food. I do eat vegetarian, so hopefully they have a vegetarian option. Grab some food that they had up there. They were also serving bacon, but they were able to give me some vegetarian option, although I'm sure there's bacon grease and all this. So eggs with ramps, we got some fries, cornbread, and white beans. Some sort of pie, I don't even know exactly what kind of pie it is, but it looks homemade. And a giant jug of sassafras tea, which they reused this container, so that's awesome.
Yes, and I'm just one where no one knows my name.
So I just left the festival and I found a little spot by a brook here where I'm going to actually take the ramps. I'm going to cut the root end off of the bulb and probably soak those roots in water because they look like they've been kind of dried out. And then I can start planting here and on my ride home throughout the Cherokee Forest here and surrounding areas. So I just finished cutting the roots off, as you can see here. I didn't do all of the ones because I don't even think I could plant every single root that I from every single ramp. But I'm gonna take them home, cut off the roots of the rest of them, and then find some place to plant them. But for the time being, I'm just gonna plant these guys. Stuck the roots in some river water. Let those soak in, and then plant them around here and everywhere on my way back. So I'm out on a trail now, and I'm planting the roots of the ramps. Ideally, you want to go somewhere that's like off the trail. I'm really close to it, but I just didn't. These woods look like they're kind of thick for hiking into, so I'm planting them along the trail. Hey, maybe some people will pick up some ramps from the ramp patch maybe 5 to 10 years from now. Since it's springtime, I'm looking for a place in the sun that's relatively open. Right here looks pretty good. Of course, it'll fill in and get shady over the course of the summer, but if I was planting these in the summertime, which I don't know why you'd do that, you would obviously look for a place in the shade. But this is nice because you can see that the time when the ramps really need the sun, like the spring, you know for sure that this has at least a little gap for sunlight. I'm gonna go ahead and plant them. Ideally, you want to leave a little bit more than I left, but I also want to eat the ramps too, so I'm trying to get the best of both worlds. So in conclusion, the Ramp Festival was pretty awesome. I got to get a lot of ramps. I got definitely a bunch of culture and music. Got to see the beautiful countryside out here. It's really interesting to see too the way that this part of the world appreciates food culture. I mean, fortunately, it's not as popular in this generation than it probably was in past generations. The average age at the Ramp Festival was probably like 65 or 70. People were very old. Most people had a lot of trouble walking around. But there were young people there as well to carry on the tradition. It's kind of interesting too that the amount of care that goes into carrying on and passing along tradition in this part of the world, especially food tradition, the care that goes into the heirloom seed saving and the celebration of seasonal food, hopefully will catch on in more places across the US and across the world. Much like I heard Joseph Simcox talk about how it's similar to like folk music and country music, how that started from the traditions of the Southeast, and then kind of expanded across the world and now are popular everywhere. So hopefully it sets off a chain reaction. Okay, I got the ramps home now and processed out. I separated the leaves, which I'll make into some ramp oil and some ramp powder for adding to food as like a spice. And then the ramp bulbs themselves, which I'll probably chop them up. I'll eat some fresh. I'll freeze some. I'll pickle some. A lot of uses for the ramp bulb, but I also have some that are still intact, normal, to use it in ramen and stuff, like a full leek, and just that it can be baked and eaten with a knife and fork, which would be really nice. Then I've got some that I'll be planting around the yard too. Sorry for the bad lighting, but that day was full of ramps. I'm really happy. I got plenty to share with friends, learned a lot, and definitely checked off something I really wanted to do for a while. So that was awesome. Main takeaway from all this, though, I want to stress is sustainable and regenerative collecting of plants. Ramps are a threatened species in this area, and I don't know for sure if they were collected from an area that they have stable populations. So whenever you're out collecting, just make sure to leave everywhere you go better than you found it. So that means bringing native seeds along with you and scattering them as you move across the landscape, or replanting, if possible, the plants that you're collecting. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.